Okay, namaste. Also, hello to you guys. Six realms teaching again. With today, the hungry ghost realm, and we will do. The deeper you're in, the more energy is stuck, so to say, in that realm. And if you're aware of it, this energy gets released, and you have it for the good, deep in it, for your further learning, for your growth. So on the other side, if you actually check a few boxes, or maybe this week observe yourself, is there any behavior I do in my daily life which fits into those realms? If you find yourself being in that or behaving like that, because it means as soon as you found it, you can release it. And that means you have potential for growth. So it's actually a good thing. Okay, hungry ghost. So imagine this like figure with a very big belly and a very big mouth, but super thin. So it doesn't matter how much you eat and consume, how much new gadgets you buy and so on, you don't feel fulfilled. You feel unsatisfied, and you're really striving for the next thing, always and always, but you cannot still that inner hunger that wants more, that wants the next thing. And when you have something new, or you buy something new, you already think of, while you have it very new, or while you consume it, you already think of the next thing. So you're not even able to enjoy the moment where you have that new thing. It's already like your mind is already in the future, thinking of how can I have something more that fulfills me deeper. So here's the picture. And it's a desperate craving, an insatiable desire. So whatever you do, you cannot fill that empty hole inside. It's like a black hole that devours everything. And that can also be in terms of your self-worth, in a sense that you think you need something from the outside, that missing piece, that one missing piece, to make yourself complete. And that's this constant search and quest for finding this missing piece, which normally lies outside. And whatever you do, and you study as much as you want, you achieve also things, but they're never enough. So the very, very deep underlying emotion is, I'm not enough. And I need something, which I obviously don't have, to be happy. So in any circumstances, you find yourself, there's something missing, there's a lack of. And we have some quotes how to figure out if we're in this realm. And it could be quotes like, if only, ... So if only I would have the perfect partner, I could be happy. Or if only I would have a partner, I could be happy. Or if only I would have a bit more money, I could do something with it. Or if only, it's also in spiritual practices, I would have the secret technique, I could be enlightened. Or if only I would find the right teacher. If only I would solve my childhood issues, I could be much easier, I would find a nice partner or whatever. So it's, if only is like one of the favorite words. So if you think in those words or schemes, then it's a chance that you're maybe a bit trapped in hungry ghost. There's a comment in the chat. Okay. Then I need more ... is another one. Like I need more money, education, time. Time is a good one. If you never have enough time, if I only would have more resources, I could be better in what I do, or I could be better in finding happiness at some point. But the underlying essence is like, I'm not enough, so you also feel not lovable. And try to fill that gap, or that empty feeling, with something from the outside, with items or things. And then slightly with that comes also, who would be interested in me? like because you feel you're not worthy of what you're doing. And with that whole hungry ghost thing, it comes also that you romanticize the past a little bit. Like when I was young, everything was better. When I had my ex-partner, and you idealize the past. So there was a reason why you split up, probably, but you idolize and you forget about the bad things that actually made you split up, and idealize. Oh, it was better because at least I had someone that shared with me my life or whatever. So there's a lot of everything in the past was better. The grass is always greener on the other side. Do you know that feeling? Like you have your own things, but somehow you look to the neighbor, so there's a lot of comparison happening, and somehow they're always having it better. It actually doesn't matter if they're actually having a better kind of car, partner, grass, or whatever, but you see only the things you're missing, the things that you're in lack of. I don't have enough friends, enough attention, enough blah, blah, blah. So you feel like really the universe is not giving you what you actually deserved. Social media scrolling would be a perfect example for this hungry ghost, because that's like you search for something, you see something, and then you continue to scroll, and it doesn't satisfy you enough. And you continue to scroll, and it doesn't satisfy you enough, but you're kind of caught in this vicious circle of continuing to scroll and to scroll. And you search for something, but somehow nothing is enough to fulfill that empty gap inside. Fixation of what is missing instead of what you already have. So, those people who can see the glasses half full, you would be seeing the glasses half empty. Because that's just how it works in your sense. If you are like caught in this hungry ghost realm, then you cannot see the glass half full. You can only see the empty part, that missing part. And that sense of lack, that is connected to something very deep, which we all carry, and that is the emptiness inside. So there is a part that is very empty. And we all try to avoid that, and then to distract us with entertainment or with buying things and all that stuff. And we want to go deeper into exploring what is this emptiness. I come to that a bit later, but now I'm stating what is the diagnosis, and then later on I tell you what is the antidote. What can you do to get out of that? So avoiding this inner void, this feeling of lack, of emptiness, is a very big part of hungry ghost, and is universal. Everybody has that, because we are born in the society of separation. So it's a spiritual truth that everybody will come to that point in life, that feeling the emptiness inside will happen. And either we explore it as something beautiful, or we think like, oh no, there's nothing, so I have to fill it. And that's the endless eating experiences. There's one danger. You can meet someone that is in that realm, and you give, but they cannot be satisfied. And you can endless give, but they can never be satisfied. And at the end, maybe we call them like energy vampires or something. They still can be very beautiful people, but you're like, I give so much and I feel it's never enough. Or it can be like in a relationship. And when you're in contact with a person like that, it doesn't help to give more, because they just take it and put it into the black hole where it disappears. So at some point you need to set a clear boundary, especially also when you're a teacher, and more knowledge is not always helpful at some point. At some point it's helpful to stop the giving and asking inquiries to make them realize that they're in hungry ghost mode. Gollum is a good example from the Lord of the Rings. Do you know Gollum? Yeah, he's like, he has the ring and he's guarding it, and he's like, it's mine, I think. It's his. Yeah. So he wants more and more. Yes, and the thing is, sometimes those hungry ghosts can be competitive because they also compare always, but it doesn't need to be competitive, and it doesn't need to be successful in modern measurements. It can be also very, someone like a hungry ghost can be suffer quite a lot in life, because whatever they strive for, they don't get enough. And then so they get frustrated at some point and they give up at some point. It's a difference, because Titan is very close to that, but Titan has another strategy. And this hungry ghost gets frustrated at some point. And this is, yeah. Fear of missing out is another one, FOMO, fear of missing out. Because you always think someone else has a better experience or a better thing or a better car or better whatever partner. And what that makes is that we miss the present moment and the fullness of the present moment, obviously. Because when I think of others and compare and only see the lack, we miss out what we have, what is already there, the fullness, which is very vast around us actually. But that's the sad part of that. Yes, so what hungry goes through, instead of the Titans, they end up also in self-pity, wanting to be seen from others, or connecting to others with self-pity. Because they make others see how they are missing all those things. And that's kind of reinforcing or re-strengthening their hungry ghost mode. Because if I say, do you see that I have not enough money? And you give me the confirmation, yeah, I see that. So I feel self-pity, but I also get a confirmation that I don't have enough money. So I go deeper and feed the lack sense instead of finding a way out of that. And that's not very nice. Yeah, so then there's another word, the ifs. Even if some things in life work out quite well, you're defeating your success by asking the if question, or by imagining like you could have done it in a better way. So if I only would have another partner, I could be even more happy. So the happiness you already have, or that moment of when you feel great, you lose, because you think of, if it would be even a little bit better, then I would be even more happy. So that's also dramatic, actually. Yeah, I put this line, missing life and pretending we are not. That's the same thing what I said, because in the moment we get something new, which could be fullness, seen as fullness, we just see what we don't have. Doesn't matter how much we gain. So imagine you win in a lottery and you win 1 million, and last week or next week it's like 2 million is in the jackpot. You would just compare and say, oh shit, I won the wrong week. If I would just have won this week, I would have 2 million double, but I just got 1 million. Okay. One thing that can happen else is that you reduce everything to commodities, like to data, to objects. And you just look for what's in it for me, and you measure every experience in a data sheet kind of thing, to make sure you have the best outcome you possibly can get. The problem is, whatever the outcome is, it will still not be enough for you, because you can imagine how it could be more. So that doesn't serve you, but keeps you in the loop. Yes, emotions that could come with that is desperation and neediness, a lot of craving and grasping, desires for sure too. And self-pity. As to mention, because I mentioned it for the other ones too, there's a spiritual facade, meaning as a spiritual practitioner, how would that look like in the wrong sense? That would be the humble seeker. So you have a facade of being very humble, but you actually seek a lot and you cannot get enough teachings, and you want to visit all the gurus because you want to have all the knowledge because you just cannot get enough. But to the outside, you're very humble and you're very dedicated. But you're just wanting the next thing and you're looking for the magic bullet. And then the attitude to practice, which is another key point, is I need more instructions before I can practice. That's kind of, I don't have enough already to start. Or I need a savior. So you're looking for the guru, the one person that liberates you, that touches you at the head, that gives you the final bliss and enlightenment. Or attitude like, I first need the next, I wrote here, the next fashionable thing, meaning like the next, I need the better yoga mat, better yoga gear, the better clothes. You know those people who buy all the gear but no idea? Like who buy all the ski stuff already, like the most expensive but have never skied, going on a mountain, best equipped. Nothing wrong with that. You can do that if you enjoy that, sure, yeah. But that would be an indicator for hungry ghost, because yes, you miss the moment and the experience, but you need the next best thing already. Okay, so how do we get out of that? Antidotes. What we first do is the purification. So there's the way how to get out, and then there's what happens if you get out slowly, what energy is unlocked. And that's the purification, called purification. Let me quickly see. Okay. So okay, purification. What it unlocks will be enjoyment of embodiment. Meaning, in other words, you will feel happy in your body as it is, and happy with the things, the embodiment, what you already have. So enjoyment of that, what you grow, like what that you are having a body and that you can experience and what you can experience. And you feel constantly nourished by the universe. So that's kind of the opposite when we say like you feel as lack, there's always lack. The opposite would be, oh, there's so much fullness, and you receive all that and you see all that fullness wherever you look. So that's the energy that is the opposite, which when you release that stuck energy, it will turn towards that. And then you perceive your very existence of infinite value. Meaning, instead of I'm not enough, you're like, oh, my pure being is enough worth, enough value. I don't even need to do anything, say something specific, look specific. Just my being is enough. And it's more enough, it's like infinite value. It's the most beautiful thing that can happen. So that is the belief system that would come with it. Even without doing anything, I am of full value. How to get there? So instead of avoiding the void, the inner emptiness, what we want to do is we want to become the void. And that means when you start catching yourself in this, like you buy just another thing where you have like 20 off, like another bikini, and you already have 20 bikinis, or whatever it is, you feel like, oh, you crave for the sake of craving and not for the sake of actually that's helpful in my life. It's a good item to have. So you get aware that you feel this inner hungry ghost. You feed it. When you get aware, then there is this, you feel into it, and then arises this void, this emptiness. And instead of avoiding that, which is numbing and trying to buy more things, instead of avoiding, you rest into that emptiness. And that can be a very scary feeling because, well, that's the big fear of the ego and of a person, because that is kind of emptiness is like death. There's nothing happening. There's no thing. That's no-thingness, nothingness. Yeah, and you want to feel into that and see what happens if I surrender to that. When I deeply allow myself to be that no-thingness. And then you will realize that it actually connects you to a very, very close, it connects you very close to what you actually are. So in yoga philosophy, we say that nothingness, that emptiness is your essence, because your essence doesn't have a form, it doesn't have a color, it doesn't have a shape or taste or smell. You cannot grasp it for sure. It's like when we would use a modern word, it would be consciousness, but consciousness is just, you cannot grasp it. You can only be it. And consciousness is inherently empty. There's no thingness. But it's blissful. It's the most beautiful, peaceful thing. Emptiness can be just endless, infinite peace. And that's what everybody wishes for. They want to be in peace. But it can be misunderstood as fear or death, but only if you half touch it. Only the thought of it is fearful, not the experience of it itself. We would call that sometimes samadhi experiences. That's like deep emptiness, deep feeling of, some people would call it even connection probably, because they just feel like blissful internally. But yeah, so not avoiding, going into it and realizing, that's then a deep spiritual teaching, that this is my true nature. I am empty. Empty is not the right word. You can say I'm potential of everything, but radiant nothingness. And from there, you have also the power to become everything. If you're already something or someone, then you're very limited in what you can become. If you're emptiness, you're open to become everything. Okay, that's one thing. So connecting to that actually whole, you try to fill. The next thing you can do is wake up to the mandala of nourishment. What does that mean? It means that we have already always everything we need around us. And there's a richness in everything. And that needs practice to see. It's not given because we grew up in a different way. It's a practice. You have to remind yourself over and over again that there is enough. There's enough for me and for everybody, and there is richness. And you can start very simple with maybe observing your body or observing your breath. The breath is always there for you. It's nurturing you without any costs. You don't need to pay for it. You don't need to subscribe. It's just there. It's just feeding you and unconditionally giving you life over and over again. And then you can open the eyes and just look at whatever you want and see how vivid and alive that is. And you can see that in everything. You can see colors. You can see like the most simple thing can be the most beautiful thing. But you can start with beautiful things like a sunset, a rose, and so on. Nature helps a lot. But at the end, you can also practice that with anything, really, to see the richness in it. And it's just a change of perspective. I don't have enough time to go into it, but there are many spiritual practices to see fullness, and your whole experience is already complete and full. Like you have 5 senses, and they're giving you so much to enjoy. if you get rid of the labels of this is good and this is bad. The mind is just categorizing good, bad, helpful, not helpful, pain, pleasure. If you get rid of the labels, it's just a pure intensity of fullness. Cannot describe it better. Okay, so waking up to the mandala that you have already enough. Also in normal terms, like you don't starve food, you have probably a home, you have probably people that know you, you have kind of friends, like just getting aware of what you already have. Make a list. What are you grateful for? And learn, that's the next thing, learn giving. Because as a hungry ghost, you're just like taking. I need to fill the inner void. So when you learn giving, you learn like you can only give if you have enough. If you give, you have something. And the first thing you can give, which everyone has, is attention. Give attention to another person. So simple. And often that's the most valuable thing you can give to someone. If the attention is flavored with kindness or compassion or love or something like that, it's even, you cannot give more than that, actually. But yeah, you can also give little things, gifts, knowledge, you know a lot. An ear listening to a person that wants to tell you something. Yes, so then we can also, what we also can do is gain new perspectives on how to evaluate value. So often we only see, okay, I have a car, it's a shitty, pretty old car, and there is a Porsche, and that is my neighbor, so we see what we don't have, the Porsche or whatever, Ferrari. But you can change the inner belief of value. What is the value of a car? The value of a car is when you can take someone and transport them to somewhere else. You give them a nice gift of giving them a lift, you know? And it doesn't matter if that's a Porsche or a VW Volkswagen from the 80s. So the value is actually the transportation instead of the money you paid for the car. Nothing wrong with a Porsche, but nothing wrong with the VW either. It's like you can stop making the lack, feeling the lack, and just seeing, changing the perspective of value. Okay, where can I find the value? And often the action is more value than the object itself, what you can do with it. Does it make sense? Okay. Yeah, I put down now, there is enough attitude. So now, in this present moment, I have enough as an attitude. So you create that attitude. Now, there is enough. Right now, there's enough. And if tomorrow I have enough whatever, money, I don't know yet. Like, of course, I don't tell you to not plan your days or your life, and you might have to work to plan your month and to pay your rent and so on. That's, of course, we're still responsible. But look at the now and see if you have enough in the now. And don't make too many stories about tomorrow. If you have planned it once, good, then you don't have to think about it anymore. Yes. Allow to be surprised. When you look for surprises, being spontaneous, what happens is you interrupt the pattern of planning your next buy. The hunger that's constantly there and the control that comes with it, you interrupt it because you're spontaneous and you're surprised. Oh, I didn't expect that. Interrupts the hunger. Yes, and a practice for that would be an open awareness meditation, meaning you just sit down and you don't make any goal what should happen in your meditation, and you just open your awareness to whatever is arising. Whether that's thoughts, whether you're Awareness goes to your body, to your breath, to noises, to distractions. You just imagine you cannot do anything wrong. The only thing you want to do in this meditation is to sit. And then you listen. That would be an open awareness meditation. And you're like, because you don't know what's coming, you're like, okay, interesting, that's coming. So it's not feeding the, I want to get this pattern. Yeah, sometimes in meditation we have that, we feed that too. I want to have this blissful state. So you work hard for it and then it will not come, and then you're annoyed, my meditation was so bad today. Never get the blissful state. Okay, two more things I want to mention, and then we change to the other one because I'm running out of time here. Ability to allow desire to be there without the need to be satisfied. So you stay with the desire without fulfilling it. So imagine you want more money or a different partner or whatever, another car, and you just stay with the desire. You feel into, I have this urge to get it, but I don't act on it. I just feel into the urge. It's a beautiful practice, powerful, because you suddenly are not controlled by your desires. You're free to just be with the desire. And then lastly, there's a metta practice, and that is sending generosity to all of them who are stuck in this realm. Meaning you just authentically sending fullness and generosity to other people who are also in that realm. You don't need to know them, you're just sending it to everyone who's in that realm. So every realm has this one practice, sending to others something specific. In this case, Hungry Ghost is generosity. Okay. So that was a lot. I still want to go to Titan, and I try to make it shorter, so we're not too late here. Okay, and then afterwards, if there's some questions, we can go into that. Asura Loka means Titan realm. Titans are close to the Hungry Ghosts, but still different. The thing is that our society feeds very much into a Hungry Ghost and Titan, because products are built like that. Facebook is built creating a habit of consuming, of getting back to it every 50 times a day. It's built in that way. That's their goal. And yes, buying a new phone every 2 years is their goal. Like they build cycles of products. So it's feeded by our society very much. They probably know that there is a Hungry Ghost existing. And Titan is very similar. So Titans are searching for accomplishments. And their self-worth is proven and established by accomplishments and comparison to others. So you really, in this one, you really work hard for it to get to the top of the chain. At least to be better than whoever is next to you and you compare yourself with. You want to be a little bit better or much better. And you see the world and life as a constant fight to establish yourself as somebody that has a title, that is smart, that is successful, that is better, that is, and so on. And you feel you're in constant competition. And that can be in your work life, but that can also be in your relationship with your lovers, with your partner. Like my teacher said, you have an argument with your partner and they get angry and you just stay calm, and internally you think like, yes, You might be right, but at least I'm calm in this fight, so I'm a better person. Yeah, so you just look for that one thing you're better in to put the other person a bit lower and yourself a little bit higher. So it comes with that superiority thing. But the problem is that the root is also that you feel not enough. So you feel actually inferior, but you have made your mind to work to get superior. And you do everything for it. So the motivation is that you actually feel inferior, but you worked so hard that you now judge yourself as superior. And it's a game of status. I want to share my screen again so you have a look here. So status and hierarchy. When you come into a room, you scan, and that's unconscious, of course. You scan through the room and see like, okay, you're the prettiest or the smartest or something you're the best in, to dominate. So domination is a huge thing in Titan realm, even if it's not expressed. And you can also be a very beautiful, nice person from the outside, but you still have this game of domination, and I'm actually here in something the best. The problem is that you create actually a distance to other human beings with that, because no matter how close you come to them, you still have this game running. So you still want to be a little bit better than them. So you downgrade them. And of course there's a distance, because if they're on eye height, you lost the game. Yeah, so, and you cannot let that happen. What comes with it is a strong fear of failure and of criticism, because you put your self-worth on that success. Whenever someone criticizes you, they tell you you're not worth enough. And that's a terrible thing. And you worked also so hard for it, so you cannot let that happen. So when someone criticizes you, you find reasons why the critics is not right, or you put them down. You find their mistakes too. So that in the end, if you would compare you and them, they would be below. And behind that, there's a fear to show your vulnerability. Because if you're vulnerable, you have to admit your weaknesses. And as a Titan, you don't do that. There's no space for weakness, because the weak ones, they are the ones that lose. There's a sentence, I think I wrote it down here. Second place is the first loser. So second place is not enough for you. You need the first place. And if you're not in the first place, you have a problem. You need to work harder. So they're also very much concerned about getting a lot of things, because they represent their success. And that can look very similar to a hungry ghost, because they just endlessly buy things to fill the inner void. This time it's like to show your success, to the outside world, to show your worth, love. And so it has to be proven by your status and your symbols of status. Quotes you would think or say when you're in this realm: I deserve to have and be the best, and I will make it happen. So the hungry ghost would maybe say the first part too: I deserve to have the best and be the best. But you might don't want to work for it. You're more in a self-pity, but why is the universe not giving it to me? In this one, you're like, no, I make it happen. I work hard for it. I beat everybody else. And that comes with a big need for control and domination. And so another quote would be: if I could only control situations using my intelligence and energy and wisdom and skills and so on, I would make things turn out like they should. And then generally, comparison to others, like you are better or worse than me, like that's a clear Titan thinking, behaving pattern, or you are as good or as bad as me. So it's this constant comparison and putting the other one as at least equal. And if they are better, they're an enemy you have to defeat. I have unlimited potential can be also a Titan quote, because you believe that that's the only way how you can be loved in life and get recognition from others. So that's the highest achievement you want. You want to be loved and get recognition, but you think the strategy is working hard for it or making accomplishments, like job titles, university titles, money, and so on, partners. The harder, the better. Or pain is just something to push through. I must be the best at any costs, otherwise I will diminish the victory of the others. Yes, so emotions are jealousy, envy, pride, shame, suspiciousness. You're also suspicious of everybody else. You don't trust them really, because you still think they're also playing the same game to be better than you. So even if you come close to a person, you're like, okay, you're just doing this to get me in a vulnerable position. So I open myself to you, and then you will use it against me and go on top of me, like ahead of me. If randomly you drive on a street and someone overtakes you, like, okay, this is a race and I have to overtake them. You make stories out of your game. Okay, let's see. Yes, if you're not with me, you're against me. Or you're either with me or against me. Yes, respect seems safer than love. It's also a big thing for Titans. Because respect is a more safe position. If you're respected, you don't have to open up, and you can find a strategy to be respected more easily. And being loved, it's unsecure because you have to show vulnerability. And it's not easy to plan. So you're longing to fit into the world, but you have a strong belief that you need to fight for it. So you get very hard in you're tense in the body, but also internally and emotionally. Okay. Perfectionism is a very clear sign of Titan realm. Because, of course, you want to deliver the perfect thing. The problem that comes with it is it's your ideal, but whatever you do, you cannot ever reach there. Like, the reality of life always shows you that you're still not enough. It's not perfect enough. Because this perfect race never ends. However good you are, that's the downfall of this one. Even if you do something very, very good, you get accomplishments of it, but you still need to protect that at least, to not fall lower and someone else is even more perfect in a sense. And you see the little faults in that what you have created. So perfect doesn't exist in a sense, but you still strive for it. And at the same time, you see you cannot have it in a sense. That wasn't very clear. Yeah, okay. Okay. Another problem that comes with it is that you're so caught up in the game, in the fight, that the fight becomes more important than your goals. So being better than someone else is more important than what you actually want to achieve when you compete against them, which is a very stupid thing, but that's how you define yourselves, to hit harder than the other one while in the fight. it's not about winning in the end. It's about hitting harder. Yes, so striving for control and power is the ultimate road to your success. And I think that's why we see probably in politicians, but also in all big major companies, that's the scheme how we climb up the ladder of success. The hierarchy in a company is to be better than the others and be recognized as that. And so it's really like fed by our society to be in that way. It's like you get a badge, you get more money if you behave like that in a Titan realm. And what you completely lose is real human connection to other people. And yeah. Okay. Shall we go for that? Yes. So avoiding responsibility can be also an effect of being in Titan, because what it does, it shows vulnerability. When you're responsible for a mistake you did, you have to admit that. And that shows that you're not that perfect image you hold of yourself. And that opens the door for critics and to, you think, someone devaluing yourself. And so you blame others and their faults to destruct your own failures or problems. So there can be a blame game included. And you, in the end, don't take responsibility over your own weaknesses. And everybody has some things they can do better and some not. And sometimes we hurt other people's and so on. And if you don't take responsibility, you only take responsibility over your success and not over your failures. And so that's not real responsibility. Good. Let's slowly walk towards the antidotes. How can we get out of that? Spiritual facade, before we do the antidotes, is defender of the faith. Why did I write that? I don't remember. Okay. Attitude to practice. Nothing is too tough for me. Let me prove it. So when someone gives you a practice or 5 practices and one that is really, really difficult, only for the advanced ones, you go for that. And you prove that you are the best. Yeah. Also, spiritual practices, you want the most highest samadhi experience, enlightenment, and you want to show it to your guru, how great you are. Okay, antidotes. What's a purification? What is when we release that realm? We feel harmony arising, the opposite of fighting against everybody in life, and being on the top of the chain is harmony. And another sweet, nice thing that comes with it is that you see the best in others. You see their value, you see how good they are. And you not only see it, you also evoke it in them. So you nurture other people to grow as well and be even better than you. As a Titan, you never would do that. You don't want anyone to be better than you, because that would lower your self-worth. Okay, what do? We antidote by being more humble. Humble yourself. How can we do that? Make some contributions without receiving their recognition. Have you ever given someone a present for their birthday without putting your name on it? That would be such thing. If they don't find out it was you, you just gave them something for the sake of making them happy, of seeing them thrive. I guess parents do that with their children, hopefully. They They give so much life force and energy and time, and they just want them to grow and thrive in life and be happy. Yeah, that would be the idea. So you become a mother or a father for all other people. You just want them to grow and be good. Be in service for others, or in general in service. Even better, selfless service, like a karma yogi position here at our place. You're just preparing the room so the others can enjoy better and they have a more comfort. And you don't get anything for it back. That's our idea of karma yoga. We don't tell them, well done. Maybe we sometimes do that, but that's not the idea of karma yogi. Karma yoga is selfless service. We're doing it for the sake of it and to serve others. And not for a well done, bravo, you're the best, you're a good karma yogi, you're here in extra payment. That's not, we don't do it for accomplishments, we do it for the sake of it, or to support others. And humility, if it's done in a correct way, makes you feel similar to other people. It connects you and feels you like we're all the same, actually. If we look at humans, we're all the same. There's not one human more worth than another human. And that only arises when you can get rid of the superiority complex as a Titan, and you have that as a Titan. So you surrender your attachment to recognition for whatever you do. And that is very difficult, but possible. Another thing that can help is sincere and honest practice. So if you do yoga or spiritual practice, you don't do it for your teacher. You don't do it to be seen as a better student than the others. You just do it for the sake of it. You do it maybe to nurture yourself, but not as a self-recognition for your worth. Your worth doesn't change with what you do. It's important, actually. Your worth doesn't change with what you do. As a Titan, you believe that strongly. What I do depends, sets my worth. Also, what Titans misunderstand is that there is a final goal in life to achieve. They actually believe that. But it's a big misunderstanding, because whatever a Titan achieves, it can be like in their idea of success. It can be like getting a Porsche, and then they have the Porsche and they figure out, well, I'm still wanting more. I'm still not feeling enough or valued. So then after the Porsche comes the next car or the house or whatever, or your title in work, you're already the manager of the company, and then you want to be the boss of the company. Then you get the boss of the company, and you're still like, my company is small, I want to be big as Facebook. And then you're Mark Zuckerberg, and you still can't stop. I want to go to Mars. Yeah, sometimes Titans setting goals that are too big to achieve ever in life. Another thing is that. So there is no final goal to achieve that will make you happy in the end. You have to understand that as a Titan. It doesn't matter what you achieve. The achievement is not that thing that makes you happy. It's the dance for the sake of the dance. So you can still do and achieve things, but you do it for the dance of the sake of the dance. Meaning, you don't go to a party to dance to win an award afterwards. There is no award on a normal party. If you go to a competition, yes, but if you dance on a party, you dance because it feels nice at the moment while you dance, right? Have you ever danced on a party with someone else? Good. That's why you dance. So this whole life is a whole dance. Lila, the play of consciousness. Okay. Another thing you should do as a Titan, you cultivate vulnerability, show your soft and vulnerable sides, open, share with others. And tenderness and harmony, you strive for harmony, you seek to harmonize. Because as a Titan, you often subtly manipulate other people in a fight, in a competition. When you're in harmony, you don't compete. So create that harmony and flow. And believe in the other's love. People loving you, not for what you do, just for your being. And you have to believe in that. If you sit on the belief that only your achievements and your acts make them love you, you will never get out of acting and acting and acting. So you have to come to a point where you maybe surrender and say, okay, maybe they just love me because they do, without me doing stuff. And yeah, that is unconditional love. It's called unconditional love. And also don't misconclude that love will last forever in the same way that it does in this moment. So love can change. When a partner loves you, it can also change. And it's not necessarily because you act differently. Maybe they interpret it also in that way, but the love at the moment is there it's just there for you. It's not because of you're such a great person. Love is deeper, if it's true love. If it's superficial love, then they just have you because they're also Titans to show off in their environment. But it's true love, then that's a heart connection. It's just there because the energies love to be around each other. Doesn't need the reason of you being especially pretty, having curls, or the beautiful dress. The partner loves you with or without the dress. Yeah. Okay. We have 2 or 3 more things. Working together in a team is a great thing for Titans because they mistrust everybody. Being in a team, you have to create trust and you have to do something together. So the achievement is as a unity, and none of the team members will be the hero in the end. If you still try to be the hero in the team, you're still in the Titan. But if you take yourself away, like a good football team only wins when they all play together. When there's one that wants to be better and the hero of everybody, maybe they win at some games, but in the long term they will not win. Because there's just one star and the other ones are useless. It will not work. Team means working together as a unit. And that also awakes inside the appreciation for the strengths of the others, the good things they do. And you support that because you want the project to flourish. Yeah, so a team. And with it comes also that you could focus rather on the competing parts with what they are better in. You could praise what you see good in them, what they do better or what they do good. So, well, as a Titan, sometimes you see someone that is worse in something, so you feel better. Instead of seeing that what is worse in them, what they have as weaknesses, you see what strength do they have. And if they are better in something, you praise them for them being better. So that helps, and that's very unnatural for a Titan, so that's why we do that. And the meta practice would be sending peace and harmony to all of them who are caught in this realm. All right. So I talked a lot, and the hour is already full. So for this week, you can observe yourself if you have tendencies of one of those points I mentioned, and see if you can first step, become conscious about it. And second step, maybe antidote it in either the ways I said or just the opposite behavior. And that hopefully will free some energy. And don't worry, and still treat yourself with kindness if you find yourself in such behavior, because we don't want to punish ourselves for that. It's something that we don't do consciously, and it's great if we get aware of it. So yeah, that would be my idea for you as a practice if you want to go deeper into that. And if you haven't watched the other videos, I highly recommend to especially watch the introduction and maybe the other realms, because it's good to have an overview of all the realms to orient yourself. Where's your dominate behaviors? Most of the time in one or two of them. Other than that, let's make 1 minute of silence together and then close this call. So close the eyes and let's sink in what wants to sink in, and everything else can just go, and whenever it pops up again, it's the right time. So don't worry too much about it. Allow yourself to come out of the mind into present moment, experience of one of your senses or connecting with the breath. All right. Namaste.